Tenachi Home Cinema and Music Systems, for the finest reproduction of movies and music available in your home, featuring the finest equipment from around the world, including handcrafted opera loudspeakers, Unison research amplification from Italy, Integra home theater, and many more. Discover the difference at tenachiav.com or visit us on Facebook.
Back on the Atomic Power Racing Hour, where after a wild first heat race, Heat 2 is loaded with names of top contenders that made it difficult just to qualify for the redraw.
The white flag has been given to the field. A lot of Canadians up front. Jordan Peters, Kyle Sopas, the teammates of Greg Bellier and Charlie Sandercock, also in the field. Another pair of teammates. The 3T of Tim Sears Jr. and the 3K of A.J. Kingsley, both from Central New York. So some teammates, some independent cars. They're all good ones, and they're going 8 laps for just 4 transfer spots into the redraws. They get set and ready to go off of turn number 4. The top side's been good on prior restarts. We'll see if Kyle Sopas can use that to his advantage. He got kind of a late start, but makes it work in a turn number 1 and 2 and takes the race lead away. Charlie Sandercock also making the top side work, and he rockets into position number 2. Stays in the throttle, pulls up near the back end of the 12S and goes to the outside. Side by side for the race lead, and Sandercock jumps out in front of the field. Boy, the top line really working right now. Look at Tim Sears Jr. in the 3T jump into the runner-up spot. Here comes Rick Miller through on the high line of the racetrack. Brockville Speedway, known as the Beast of the East, and known as a track where if you can hook it up on the top side, you can be very effective. But that is a danger line. Keep an eye on that. Greg Bellier slips up, has to slam on the binders, and now falls back into position number 6. Battle on for the runner-up spot. Rick Miller goes to the inside of Tim Sears, going for position number 2 behind Charlie Sandercock. They get washed up. Over the banking goes Tim Sears. Comes off the banking, tries to get back on. Sopas goes by, and Sears goes flying. My goodness, he falls back to 6th. The caution is out, but Tim Sears went on a wild ride.
The caution may have been for debris, but take a look at Tim Sears Jr. once again as he gets airtime trying to get back on the track without losing more ground. Would that injure his car, though? Let's find out.
This will be a single file restart as race leader Charlie Sandercock had just gotten to the halfway point when the debris caution was flown. Rick Miller peeked to the inside, but he missed his mark on the bottom and holds on to spot number 2. Greg Bellier goes over the banking on the back stretch. Here comes Tim Sears Jr. and is quickly back into a transfer position in the redraw. Those two are 1 point apart for the second spot in the Go Nuclear standings. Whoever finishes higher than the other will not only finish second in the standings for the season, they could win the championship depending on what happens with Dale Caswell. Sandercock, who has done some work running sprint cars this season, is out in front of the field. Well, Rick Miller rides in position number 2. Back to the great battle for 3rd. Bellier has the position. Tim Sears is right there, less than a lap to figure it out, as Sandercock is driving away into 3 and 4 for the final time. And off the corner, Charlie Sandercock has himself the checkered flag. Miller, Sears, and Bellier able to make their way into the redraw. Jordan Peters will have to start back in 14th for the feature tonight.
Here's how Charlie described his fine run afterwards.
The car was just working good. We made a couple adjustments there before we went up for the heat race and just kind of said, all right, well, let's go and give her a try, and went into the corner and the car stuck, and away we went and got out front.
You heard it mentioned earlier by many of the competitors what a cold night it was in Brockville. This affects not only the drivers and fans who can seek shelter, but the race cars as well. It's something Rich Fleck discusses further in this episode's Tech Minute.
Well, tonight on the Tech Minute, we dive in deeper into how these race cars stay at the appropriate temperature on a cold night. Here in October, the temperature is almost down to freezing. And for those of you at home watching this in the midst of winter, probably with snow outside, that doesn't seem like so bad right now. You'd probably sign up for the 30s. But in racing terms, that's really getting to the bare minimum. So the drivers and teams have to come prepared. We wear hats and jackets. They have to put those on the car in a number of different spots, one of which is they put it on the tire. Keep the tire heated up and ready to grip into the racetrack. Another thing that they'll do is bring in these heat torch devices, blow them into the back of the car, and help to keep the fluids at the appropriate temperature. They'll do the same thing in the engine as well to keep that temperature up so that they don't hurt the motor late in the season. Teams are probably running the last race of the year for many of them. They don't want to have to go into the off-season buying parts because they weren't prepared. That's been tonight's Tech Minute.
Of course, not all teams have warm luxury haulers to stay in, so creativity shines through, part of the beauty of dirt track racing. We'll have more racing action on the other side of this break.